So I wanted to do another long form video to go into, detail of what's going on with projects, and I kind of wanted to start with a big one, good old FTF, Funtime Freddy. Now I have all of his plates installed, and the only thing you really have to do for these top plates is paint the makeup that goes on the pieces here. I don't remember if the paint goes down here as well, but whatever. The only thing is that unlike the other pieces, it's still white on the inside, while the other ones are black. Kind of just, I think it looks better if it's black than white, but whatever. I can do that later. Um, the reason why this servo or this plate didn't open is because apparently that servo is dead. I also have to design or come up with a better design for his ear because it's supposed to be more perked up like this than just sagging low. I might have to 3D print a part. Like, I might have to design a flat plane and, for his ear, turn it at an angle so it matches the angle for this. Use this model to cut it for reference and then just put it in there and glue it. That's probably the best way to get the ear for this side and the other side. Because right now, it just is cardboard and glue. So that's the only thing holding that up there. His nose is another thing because originally all it is that if I just take this off without breaking it, if I can do it without breaking it. There we go. Whoops. Oh, I guess I did break it. Oh well. That that is a button. And that is his nose with the button shaft, I guess, sticking out of it. And the idea was that you would just push this in like this, and then it would, or trigger something. But the only issue is that since its only connector is that piece right there, it just swivels and spins and it looks ugly. Not to mention it's sticking out way too far. Can I put this back in without breaking it more? The answer is no. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an addition to this piece right here so it comes down and I can use like a metal pin that will allow it to still be pushed in, but it won't be able to spin and go all crazy like. Also, this is not really functioning well. Because this can just wiggle on its own, it can get in the way for the other plate. So I'm probably just going to have to figure out a way to make a piece that extends outwards and attaches to this piece so that it can be grounded to this one. Technically, I can flip-flop to make it this side or that side. All I have to do is, just change the position for this. One of the biggest pains for his inner plates is that, for one, they can get in the way. For example, this is broken. It's actually broken at that joint there from the actual piece. You can see that part sticking out so far. The only thing holding it on is the servo horn, which is another thing that's a pain in the ass. So for some, in the design, like in Fusion 360, there's plenty of clearance between this point and this piece right here. Plenty of clearance. I don't know if because the part is drooping a little bit, that kind of cuts it from being flat to like this, and it digs into the part, or what the main issue is, but it's not really doing too well. Another thing is that the servos are kind of getting in the way, not only for the PCB down there, but also for the rear servo holders for the top plates. So I'm gonna have to move these servos out and either put them way down below where they are and have them connect to the under part of these plates, or I have to just completely get rid of them. That's another thing I've been thinking about. Just I'll keep them in here, like they'll be in here, but they won't be able to move. Because really, the only thing, like, when these things move, there's not like wires and all this other stuff that Funtime Freddy has, because really that's a waste of resources. So it's for them to, to move, that's pretty cool, but when they move, all they expose all this other servo wiring and stuff. So I think he looks cooler with them just, stationary, like, hey, he goes like, brah, it's my endoskeleton, I'm going to kill you now. But, like, especially for his lower plates, it actually requires the jaw. Actually, where is the jaw? I don't know where the heck the original jaw is, but this is the new one that I printed. The reason why I had to reprint this design, because you see that weird angle slope? Well, because whenever the jaw opens and closes, when it opens and closes, especially when it closes, the bumps and curves that the original ones had were getting in the way, so his mouth couldn't close all the way. So I had to completely reprint it just for that reason. And mainly, the whole issue is that it's getting more complex and more complex and more complex. It's just sort of compounding problems that weren't problems but now are problems, and it's just making working on him and doing work for him a lot harder. So I'm kind of thinking about just removing servo movement altogether at first, maybe going back to it later if I, really wanted to. For his eyes really aren't the problem. It's just that um it's always, for getting his eyes to work, it's always been having it so there's a servo in the back that can move these eyelids. Eyelid rotation has been the biggest pain for him in his eyes. Next to his eyelids rotating, having servos attached to his eyelids and have their connections not get in the way has also been a problem. Now, for instance, like if I close his front face, oh, oops, I have to actually move the servo because how the tension works. If it's too closed, the connector pieces get in the way. Also, you can see how, for some reason, the eyelid and this piece are touching. I don't know if that's because that's drooping or that's messed up on an angle. Either way, if I go back in the design, these have to be dropped significantly for this not to happen. Anyway, ignoring that, the eyelids can sometimes clip and get stuck on this inner part of the piece. Now, I can adjust that by just, altering maybe the position of the screws, but again, that's just more change and more print time just to possibly find a solution to a problem. Another thing for his eyes is that, due to the FNAF movie kind of making me feel like a little, I gotta kind of make it that somewhat quality, mainly because of his eyes. Like, if you look at his eyes, you can see the layer lines and how that kind of reflects weird, lines. And I can kind of fix that by going through some, a lot of sanding, but even then, it kind of looks okay. Like, this is a sanded eyeball, that's a normal eyeball, but, you know, trying to I'd also have to alter the design because this thickness right here makes a weird shadow and it looks So, having the eyes look cool, like that's like the main thing, like, seeing these creepy eyes look at you in the darkness and like barely visible and then light up in like the breaker room. That's all like, oh my god, it's Funtime Freddy. Ah. You're also wondering why there's pauses, because I'm having a coughing fit every once in a while, so I'm pretty much stopping, get the cough out of the way, and then go back to recording. Just, halfway through, wanted to point that out. While I'm at it, I also want to talk about the other project. So this is Candy Cadet. He looks different because I used, I cut his parts, or his model, into four different parts to make this easier to print and paint. Also, it'll allow for light diffusion for every individual LED, which that one has. Yeah, I've gone through a lot of versions for this model, but for, to get that or this to look like it does in game, I got to go through some experimentation. I want to make a Halloween candy dispenser, for Halloween. Like, kids would go up to it, they would push a button, and he would tell a story that I would make. I would use, I don't know, maybe ChatGPT. Hey, make this story, and I'll I'll take it and put it into Microsoft David and get the voice, and then he'll dispense some M&Ms or whatever. But that's mainly what he's going to be doing. And around Halloween time, I'm going to probably try to get him and a couple other things finished. Now, the puppet, the poor old dear, has gone through some problems on her own. So this is oh, that arm is holding that up. I'm gonna leave you right there. Here you go. I just need you to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. So originally she was using these servos to pull these fishing lines to get her neck to noodle out, but yeah, that doesn't really work. The amount of torque required to move the neck like that, it can't be done with these little servos. It's got to be done with servos like this. Yes, this is my sock drawer. I'm running out of space. Oh, smell that breeze. And yes, that is a cassette player. That could be done for later. But yeah, the puppet, I really want to I want to at least have a puppet, like, I want to have that for the Halloween, as well. Just so you can see him, like, move his head around and stuff and turn, because how it's set up, ooh, I might actually have to hold this weird. The whole thing is on top of a servo, so this whole neck can move independently, and the servo can make the top of his head look left or right. And I'll be able to have LEDs in his eyes that will look around. So that's like, let's see, so that's 4, so 2, 4, 8, 9 servos just for his head and neck and eyes alone. And then we come to poor Chica. Now, Chica's has been, kind of like Mangle, but like on a back burner. Unlike Mangle, Glamrock Chica is a lot easier to do. Um, the main issue is that, like, I have him, so I kind of want to work on him, and, I haven't really gone to length, but, having so many ideas pop into your head and always wanting to work on them, and just kind of hard to focus on one at a time. You get that gnawing feeling to work on another one. Work on me. You know you want to. Finish me. Finish me! Do it! Do it, come on, finish me! I'm right here! But yeah, she's also been going through her production phase. Like, as you can tell, like, she looks great in terms of her paint. I gotta, touch it up a little bit, but, that's, that's details. She's got some teeth, some delicious teeth. Like, if I do this with my fingers, like, tough. But, yeah, okay, keep your mouth agape, please. Thank you very much. Probably recognize behind her, but, there's a lot of things in this basket. Not only, somewhat empty filament rolls, but I also have, these are all of her parts. Everything in here is either prototype designs or finished prints ready to go into her, but I haven't had the time to paint them, put them together, and put them inside of her. Heck, here are her eyelashes. I finally got them done because I had to use these resin printers, and getting these things back up and running after not being touched for a long time, it's a lot of cleaning, a lot of mess, and this resin stuff, that white stuff right there, it is a pain in the butt to clean. And trust me, that used to be a full roll. That whole thing, like, that's the second one to clean this. And a lot of wipes. There's a couple others in here. You have a, prototype Mangle Endo head. There's Moon. There's the Sun animatronic that has the moving fins. This is the, see how these parts still have the brine or the brim from the 3D print? I haven't even put this together. This is the Eclipse. I wanted to have moving teeth. I haven't even had a chance to work on him. Or them. I guess I really don't know. Like, oh, it's two different people, so it must be them, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, you can notice the cheap Temu stuffed in there. Yeah. Also, I got that robot off Craigslist. Ain't that nice? Now, good old David, also known as Mimic, is in here. I mainly just put him in here because I don't really have anywhere to put them out here, because I'm trying to prioritize Funtime Freddy, at least get Glamrock Chica her eyes. At least get her eyes. Oh yeah, back to her later. But, for him, he's pretty much done. I just have to paint him. Here's the thing. I don't know what color he is. I've been trying to get in the touch. Hey, can you help me figure out how to paint this stupid thing? Because, I really don't know. I don't know the proper colors and stuff. And, when it comes to, I'm more of a straight line kind of person. I'm okay with right angles, straight lines, and even numbers. When you start putting curves and creativity and oh, it's an abstract thing, yeah, I just lose everything. And as you can see, the good boys and girls of him, her, and him tooth, and whatever that was, I can't even remember. They're just living in wake. I will eat your soul.
And I will steal your underwear.
I don't even know what I am anymore. Back to Glamrock Chica. So, one of the main issues is that when I tried to make a servo horn, you can kind of see it back there, it's supposed to attach to this point right here. The only issue is that since it's on one side, when she closes her mouth, it gets pushed to the, this way. It gets pushed that way because of how the tension's working. Since it's on one side, instead of it being pushed up and just straight up, because there's some resistance, it's getting pushed and that way. So her whole jaw is getting, grinding on the inside of her mouth, and that's not really doing well. It looks weird and also hurts the servo. I don't know where her little laps went, but I have to find them, or just reprint them, I have these things. Also, one of the main things about these two, this black filament sucks. It's really good to make, black parts, but for some reason I cannot print that filament as good as this filament. And I've tried different settings, I've tried everything, but it's almost like the parts just don't solidify properly. And I've tried it on both printers, and this one's the best results on this printer with different settings of heat, retraction and speed, but I don't know why, it's just a pain in the ass. There's a couple other small projects that I wanted to do. Like I bought these LCD light or spheres to make eyes for one of those. Here they are. I found them. So basically, like this would mimic the yellow of their eyes, and I would animate different, shapes to, like happy, sad, angry. Where am I? Am I space? Mop man? Stuff like that. But I haven't had time to really get these to work because this is an ESP32. God, these things are a pain in the ass to work with as well. But, I was gonna make this like a, hey, let's work together and build this as a YouTube series and blah 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 blah. Ha ha. Yeah, but when you have like, I don't know, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 projects trying to go on at once, Halloween projects included, it can be a pain in the ass. I can also talk about Circus Baby. This was originally this was going to be a, surprise. I remade Circus Baby, but now she's as big as Funtime Freddy, but I haven't put much time and effort into her. I did the same thing with her that I did for him, and I made the, you can't tell because of the excellent paint job I did, but these are two different pieces. These are two parts. Like, this piece and this piece are two different pieces. I printed them individually, fused them, sanded them, puttied them, loved them separately. Circus Baby got the same treatment because her parts are way too big. And also I made her cheeks separate to make painting a lot easier. But, just don't have enough time or resources to work on her, him, those, her, that, light bulb, Chica. And all the other things I want to do, I know I really want to work on one at a time, but really, when you're waiting for something to print, and there's literally nothing you can do, because you need that part printed for you to continue, like, it's just like, I kind of want to work on this for a while, and then you kind of forget about what you're doing, and then you realize, oh yeah, that part finished printing like 5 hours ago, so, yeah, that's the thing. This is probably hard to watch, but really, I'm sick, I'm tired, and I have a checklist of things I have to fix just for this, and I have a lot of other checklists for other things, and just, yes, my little brother drew me that, don't ask. Hey, look, there he is. But, yeah, I know. People probably aren't going to watch the whole thing, to hear me rambling and ranting, but, yeah, if you do, thanks, like, subscribe, all that jazz. I mean, look, I'm surprised we even got that far with that thing. We're at, like, what, almost 269,000? Nice. Oh, yeah, people have been asking, how the heck have I kept these guys attached? I just took a rubber band. You can probably see it. I put a thumbtack through it and then just stuck it to the wall and then wrapped it around. That's basically how I kept those attached. They're attached by their tags, as you can see. He's attached by... Oh, I forgot. I was like, I kept wondering, where the heck is that thing at? I know I bought 5. There it is, this whole time. She's attached to the ceiling. He's also attached to the ceiling, and that one's just kept in a plastic bag. She's kept far away, so they can only hear the slight muffles of her screams, but not the whole thing. Anyway, yeah, that's it. I'm done. Like, subscribe, leave your comments of how stupid I am. How, procrastination, that's his name. If you do not, Funtime Freddy will come and find you. He will find you. He will find you. They'll find you. Before I go, we must let her suffer. No, please! No! I'm getting really close to the fan doing this. It's almost like you have... Ow! 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 Eat butter. Eat butter. Exotic butters. Eat exotic butters. Eat exotic butters.